Hello everyone, welcome back to the video. And I got wind of this about 3 days ago. Because of summer, I'm very busy, hard to make videos anymore, especially videos like this, because I hate being indoors in the summertime. But we've had 5 Democratic leftist scumbag senators actually threaten the United States Supreme Court about ruling in the case in their favor. Okay. Let me take you back first. The New York State Rifle and Pistol Association in my home state of New York started a lawsuit which the Supreme Court surprisingly took. Now they have the last gun cases they have taken were Heller versus D.C. and McDonald versus Chicago, both in the same years ago, under when Bush 43 was present. The New York State Rifle Pistol Association took New York City to court, saying that New York City would not allow their residents with gun permits to travel outside the 5 boroughs of New York City to go shoot at another range or compete in an event in New York State. So we have a New York City permit that's no good in the rest of New York State. I know to you and the rest of free America, this is foreign to you. Wait a minute, New York City, it has their own gun permits over New York State? Yes, they do. I think that's pretty much the only, correct me if I'm wrong, the only state that does that, where a major city has their own separate gun permit system and gun laws, pretty much outside from the rest of New York State. If there's no state out there like that, please tell me, I'm down to know. But for some reason, New York's always been so special and separate from the rest of New York State when it comes to guns. Anyway, the NYPD said that if you were a New York City pistol permit holder, you could not leave the 5 boroughs with your pistol permit, even if it was locked legally in the trunk of a car with the ammo separate. You would be considered, you'd get trouble, possibly arrested, and possibly lose your license, even if you stayed in New York State. Well, the Supreme Court decided they're going to take up this case. So once they heard that, the NYPD amended its rules, saying, okay, you can now leave New York City as long as you stay within New York State. Wow, how quickly that changed, which tells you they knew they were wrong from the get-go, and they were feeling the worst to come. This is what happens when leftists go too far. So the NYPD changes the stance, says you could leave out the 5 boroughs, go shoot now, which is good because they're pretty much only 4 pistol ranges that I know in the entire New York City. 2 in Manhattan, 1 in my hometown of Queens, and there's another one up in the Bronx. Nothing in Staten Island. And you consider how difficult it is to get around New York City, in a city of 8.5 million people. If you live in Staten Island and have to go to Manhattan or Queens to shoot, boy, man, that is a long day just to shoot a gun. But it is what it is. So when the New York City Police Department amended its rules, thinking the Supreme Court would drop the case, the Supreme Court says, no, we're going to hit the case anyway. And you guys change the rule back. So Brian Kavanaugh, New York State Senator Brian Kavanaugh, who represents the very lower tip of Manhattan and western parts of Brooklyn, started a bill A7752 to actually loosen the gun laws of New York City and state to allow people in New York City to take their guns outside of the city limits. And this went through the state Senate real fast, the Assembly real fast, and signed by Governor Cuomo. This was totally unheard of in the media. Governor Cuomo never said nothing in the press conference that I know of anyway. I mean, I just happened to run this story accidentally about well over a month ago on a rainy summer day when I was stuck in the house. And still the Supreme Court said, no, we're going to hear the case anyway. Because the city and state try to say, well, it's a moot point now because we changed the laws. And the Supreme Court says, Well, you can always change it back, so we're going to hear the case anyway. So, to which the city and state officials pretty much told the Supreme Court, well, we're going to make this case very, very messy for you then. That takes balls of steel to tell 9 Supreme Court justices, we're going to give you a messy case. But they did it. Now, it's kind of a step further. We have 5 scumbag Democratic senators that are threatening the Supreme Court, you better rule in our favor or else we'll change the way the Supreme Court does business and we'll either impeach you or we'll add justice to make you the conservative minority. Yeah, good luck with Trump being president right now, but sure. Anyway, these 5 senators were Sheldon Whitehouse of Rhode Island, the junior senator of Rhode Island, a northeast state. I know, what a shock. That female senator in Hawaii, Rosie Corona, or whatever the hell her name is. Yeah, her. Again, a blue state senator in a blue state like Hawaii. Little Dick Durbin, no pun intended, from the state of Illinois, another bleeding hard leftist. Right next door to the Rob Blumenthal, senator from Connecticut, and of course, good old Kirsten Gillibrand right here in New York State. Now, if you don't know anything about New York, Kirsten Gillibrand was a U.S. congressman not too far away from me, just north up in Columbia County. She won a red area, promoting her as a moderate right Democrat. And when she won, she said she was looking forward to NRA to making sure gun owners' rights were protected. And she came to all the local events up in Columbia County. But once, when Senator Patrick Moynihan died and David Paterson, the governor at the time of New York, the blind governor, had to make an appointment, he tapped on Kirsten Gillibrand, which I found very amusing, being that she was a moderate right congressman in the red area. But Paterson tapped it, but I knew that was going to change because I remember the night of that press conference very well. Not only but we have to see who was next to her at a press conference. David Paterson, the governor who appointed her. Right next to her was good old Chucky Schmucky Schumer of New York State, the other senator. And behind her was, at the time, Speaker Assembly Sheldon Silver, one of the most corrupt, sleaziest New York State politicians ever. And that's saying a hell of a lot, considering the crap I have in my state. But all of a sudden, she changed from being a good old girl, gun-loving, to I hate guns and we need to get rid of all of them. But that's Kirsten Gillibrand for you, another opportunist. So you have these 5 senators on top of New York City and New York State officials threatening the Supreme Court. They are scared of the majority, and not only would this affect New York State, this would affect the rest of the country. And the left is scared right now, especially with all the stuff that's going on in the country. And I don't want to get into the whole deep state stuff, but they are scared about losing their grip over the so-called peasants, us, as they get protected. So I just wanted to give that update. Let me know what you think. But yes, 5 Democrat senators have threatened the Supreme Court, as well as New York State and city officials. Oh, this ought to get real fun. The case will probably take place in October. The opening arguments when they come back from vacation. And so we'll see how it goes from there. Anyway, folks, let me know what you think. Protect your family. Keep your loved ones safe. And we'll talk to you next video.